Live from the station that's in your corner. You're watching Fox 4 News at 10.
Long COVID, long haulers. And what it is these are people that have had the disease or the illness, have came through it, but they've got long-term medical effects.
That Fort Myers man is back home after spending the last half of 2020 in the hospital. He says he doesn't know how he contracted COVID-19. He says he didn't even have any underlying conditions. Thanks for staying with us. I'm Patrick Nolan.
And I'm Jane Monreal. Ed Canute and his wife sat down with me to share their journey in hopes of having people, in his words, understand this illness is not a joke.
So I walked into this thing essentially in good health, and for it to knock me down like it did, it's mind-blowing to me that this disease could do that.
You could say Ed Canute is one of the lucky ones. He was never told directly, but he learned he had only a 10% chance to live.
They told Marty that if I lived, I'd be in a nursing home the rest of my life.
Mr. Canute suffered from one of the most complex and worst cases of COVID-19 diseases that I have seen.
I'll be very honest with you, I was a naysayer. I wore it to please her. I was thinking it was a joke.
That was before going through 2 comas, cardiac arrest, pulmonary failure, neurological disorder, not to mention surgery for a bed sore that went so deep, almost hitting his spine. It started in July of 2020. Canute remembers feeling fatigued and having a hard time breathing. A first test turned out negative for COVID-19. Then 3 days later,
Marty came home later in the afternoon and saw and I was purple, as she calls it. So we went to the emergency room, got checked in. They shuffled her out the door. They put me in a wheelchair, started wheeling me towards the entrance into the emergency room, and I blacked out or passed out, and the next thing I remember is 2.5 months later.
I was expecting every day to get that call from the hospital saying that he died. Or come say goodbye to him every day for about really, it's just been about the past month that I didn't think he was going to die.
Canute started at Lee Health Park, where he went into a first coma. He was transferred to Orlando for ECMO treatment for his lungs. After coming out of the first coma, he went into cardiac arrest, and then he remembers slipping into the second coma.
I got to a point where I was done. I didn't want to do that anymore. I just said, God, take me.
Canute did come out of it, but 65 pounds lighter and not sure if he could even walk again.
I had no use of my legs. I've got what they call drop foot on my left foot, which means that I cannot raise my foot.
Bring the wheelchair, Carla, with your foot. Okay?
Back at Health Park in Fort Myers, Canute faced more challenges in rehab.
Just I want you to walk over to your wife and give her a hug. I think I could do it. I walked across the hall, or across the room. I gave her a hug. Then I sat down. Couldn't go any further.
1, 2, 3. There you go. Push, push, push.
The physical therapist, occupational therapist in Health Park. There's 2 gals there that...
Keep that chair right behind you. Hang on, Tracy.
They're my saviors. They pushed hard.
Right foot. Left foot. Tiny steps. Good job.
Come kiss your wife.
It definitely makes us feel good. In terms of looking at from his initial hospital admission to transferring and then back to the rehab hospital and seeing him walk out of this facility, it gives us great hope.
I just say they touched my heart every single time. They've just, and I do that because it really is, it renders me speechless.
I don't take anything for granted anymore. Nothing. I mean, I'm looking at life totally different.
Canute also has a different view about wearing a mask.
For me, being one of the naysayers to begin with, I'm no longer a naysayer. Don't care what anybody says. I mean, I walked out of a doctor's office yesterday, and that lady wasn't wearing a mask. And I'm just being the bold person I might stated it. She say anything. It's, what the hell's your mask? I don't play anymore. You're not wearing a mask, I'm going to say something about it. Because that mask isn't for you, it's for me. My mask is for you, it's not for me.
I just think about all the anguish that I had to go through and all of my friends had to go through with me. So it's not just one person getting it, it just touches everybody.
Knut says his heart is back in good shape again. That's good news. And his lungs are healing. They are both turning 60 this year, hoping to travel to Russia. But for now, they say enjoying the simple things like their home, pets, and as you saw there, golf are what they're looking forward to the most.